Okay, so I have remote desktoped into my server. My server is here, by the way. I will go through that and show you in a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm using a great tool from Piriform. You may know them as the creators of CC Cleaner or CCleaner. I always call it CC for some reason. But yeah, they make another great tool called Speccy, and what it does is it will display the system information for your system. So I've downloaded their portable version, and I'm just going to start it up, and we're going to give an idea of what the current specs are on my server at the moment. So we just need that to start up at the moment. All I'm currently running on this, by the way, this server is currently running Windows 10. I know it's not exactly server software. I was running for about 8 months server 2012 R2, and I may run server version again. However, I found that some tools I wanted to use weren't server compatible, so I put on Windows 10 just so I could use some of those tools. At the moment, I'm actually running just a Plex server, although I don't really use Plex. I just installed it because I wanted to see what it was like. I usually use XBMC for my media serving, so I can literally just use Samba shares and share them in. Okay, so Speccy we've got here, as you can see, like I said, Windows 10 Pro, 64-bit. As you can see, I've got it's an Ivy Bridge Core i5 3330 at 3 GHz. I'm just running stock. There's no point to overclock on a server, especially most of the time it's spending is idle. I've got 8 GB of dual DDR3. I do believe that it's either 1333 MHz or 1600. I cannot remember. But it's not obviously running at that at this moment, but it has been running stable and I don't have any problems with it. The motherboard is an ASRock B75 Pro 3-M. And then as you can see, I've got an SSD, which is the operating system, and then I've got 4 Western Digitals. They are Western Digital green drives. They are retail. They are commercial or consumer drives. They aren't server grade, but I had them at the time. And when I bought these, the server editions of these in the same sizes were like 2 or 3 times the price. So, seeing as I have backups anyway, I wasn't too concerned if these drives fail. And they're not using under heavy load or anything. It's like I said, it only serves two or 3 media centers in the house, and there's only 2 people living in this house. So, at any one time, the most it's going to be using is 2 people streaming from it. So it's not really in high demand or anything. Most of the time it sits idle anyway. I get the drives to spin down and everything too, so yeah. So that's currently what I have on my system. I cannot remember the specs on this drive itself. Let's have a look actually. Let's go back to Google. So it is, so I'm just switching hands here because I'm a lefty. Gigabyte, Gigabyte E350N USB 3, that's the one. Okay, so it's got an onboard APU. Let's have a look at what their specs are. I do believe it's not very fast, but it's going to be perfect for server needs. Okay, so it's got a built-in AMD E350 dual-core processor. It's also got AMD Radeon 6310, which is actually quite decent for a little media center. The CPU isn't fantastic, but the graphics are really great for the purposes of using it for media and that, but I won't be using it for server purposes. As you can see, it's got it takes DDR3M 1333, which is what this will currently have. I believe is it Guile or Guile? Guile. Yeah, so that's currently what it's running. And yeah, so it has like, you know, has a gigabit NIC, has a PCI Express slot. Yeah, pretty much everything I need to use as a server. So yeah, that's currently what this system is going to be. So let's have a look over here. This is the current system as we just showed you, the Core i5, which seems a bit overkill for a server, I know. Originally I did have a lot more hard drives in here. I had as you can see, there's a few over there. I did have probably about 8 or 10 hard drives in here at the time, hence why I got a decently chunky Seasonic power supply. I love Seasonic power supplies, they are fantastic. So are Corsairs, which actually I believe Seagate builds. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe that is what I've heard, and I believe it to be true. So yeah, I did have 2 in here. I did have 2 RAID card slots, but I used them in a JBOD just to connect those extra drives, because obviously most motherboards only come with 6 SATA ports. This case itself, it is, oh god, what's it called? I've had it for a while now. I believe it's a Nanoxia. A Nanoxia. Oh geez, I can't remember. Maybe one of you guys know. I can't remember. Anyway, I bought it, and I bought it because it's a silent case. As you can tell, you can't really hear any noise coming from it. The great thing about it is it actually has sound dampening material on the inside, right there. These are extremely heavy, by the way. This is all steel construction. It's very quality made. It's actually a German-made case. In fact, when I ordered it, they had run out of stock. So they had to order one in for me from Germany, so it took a little while. Great thing about the case itself is it has these. It's a little bit dirty. I did clean out my other computer yesterday, but I haven't cleaned this one out just yet, but I'll do that before I put the new hard drive in. So it has those. These are removable. So are the front grills. Put that back in there. Like that. Oh, it also has sound dampening material here too. There too. Oh, there you go. Nanoxia. It doesn't say. These are fan controllers. I've currently got them on high. The reason I have them on high is because it is summer here in Australia. So the cooler it stays, the better, obviously. So I've removed a bunch of the drives that I don't really use. They've got like older movies and things on. What I've left with is just my SATA SSD. This is a Samsung Evo 850, 128 gig. I really recommend Samsung SSDs. I have one in this system, I have one in my regular system there, and they have been working perfectly and they are super fast. So definitely recommend Samsung Evo SSDs. I believe they make all of their own chips and everything too, which is fantastic. It just saves on the quality control there. So yeah, here's the drives I've kept in here. I've got 3, as you can tell, I watch a lot of TV shows. So I've got 3 for TV shows. This is kind of not very fancy, but I ran out of labels, so I actually used Band-Aids. a little life hack for you. I used Band-Aids, and I just wrote on them and stuck them on the sticky parts. But you know what? It works really well, and these hard drives don't get that super hot anyway, so it's all good. Thanks to the 2 inbuilt fans that come through here. Here's the intakes on the sides. So yeah, these are just regular SATA Western Digital greens. I mostly use Western Digital. I find their hard drives work well and they're more reliable. I've actually got a Western Digital black in there I've had for 7 years and it has not failed me once. So I'm very, very impressed with that. All of these I've had for at least 3 or 4 years and they've all been fine too. I've only had one Western Digital hard drive fail on me recently, and that's it. Luckily, I have a backup anyway, so I'm not too concerned. I had it for a good 4 or 5 years, so I definitely got my money's worth. So yeah, Seasonic. So that's currently what the server looks like. I'm going to be taking out this motherboard. I'm going to be putting it in a second computer, and I'm going to be using it as another desktop. I currently have 2 desktops. I have one in here, and I have one in my bedroom. I'm thinking I might actually use this system, this motherboard in the one in my bedroom because it's a lot faster. So it's good for like Skyping with my girlfriend or whatever it may be. So yeah, that's this is currently what I'm going to be putting in there. And what I'll do is I will put that in there. You guys have seen how computer builds before. I'm just basically going to unscrew that, take it out, screw that in, put it in, and yeah, what I'm going to do, even though I don't technically have to, just to be on the safe side, I'm probably going to reinstall Windows as an operating system. I have tried several Linux distros. I'm not against Linux. I just find everything to take 2 or 3 times longer than it needs to for the same purpose. So Windows I'm familiar with. Windows I work in a lot. Yeah, so between either myself or my customers' computers, everything is mostly Windows based. So I don't really see the point in doing Linux at this point. I'm not a server man. I'm not a server system admin or anything like that. I'm mostly a technician. Although I do like Linux in some factors, I do want to learn more of it. But for my server, I just need to get it set up and quickly, and I need to be able to maintain it quickly if anything goes wrong. If anything goes down, I just need to be able to swap out a drive or configure something on the system, and I find that Windows is just so much quicker for me to do that. So yeah. Alright guys, well I'm going to swap out this computer, this motherboard I should say, put the new one in, and then I will get back to you and I'll show you the results, and we'll go from there. Alright, talk soon.